Hello, hello, hello. It is Friday. I am Josetta Yvonne, your book babe, coming on with a quick book chat today. I hope this video finds you well. So, the book. Let's discuss The Wife Before by Shanora Williams. This is a mystery thriller. I would even say a little bit of a romance as well. So let me read the back for you. Samara Wilder has never had it easy. And when her latest lousy job goes south, things only promise to get harder until she unexpectedly meets a man who will change her life forever. Renowned pro golfer Roland Graham is wealthy, handsome, and caring, and Samara is dazzled. Best of all, he seems to understand her better than anyone ever has. And though their relationship moves a bit fast, when Roland proposes, Samara accepts. She even agrees to relocate to his secluded Colorado mansion. After all, there's nothing to keep her in Miami, and the mansion clearly makes him happy. Soon they are married amid a media firestorm, and Samara can't wait to make a fresh start as the second Miss Graham. Samara settles into the mansion, blissfully happy, until she discovers long hidden journals belonging to Roland's late wife, Melanie, who died in a tragic accident. With each dusty page, Samara comes to realize that perhaps it was no accident at all. That perhaps her perfect husband is not as perfect as she thought. Even as her trust in Roland begins to dwindle, and a shadow falls over her marriage, and she begins to fear for her own life, Samara is determined to uncover the truth of Melanie's troubled last days. But even good wives should know that the truth is not always what it seems. The New York Times describes this as a shocking, sensual thriller. So, as the synopsis says, it is about a young woman, Samara, meeting Roland. And they fall in love. He whisks her away. And you think that's going to be the ending, but really, it was just the beginning. When she moves in the house, things aren't as perfect as everything looks. It's not as it appears. And so then she starts to investigate, and she takes it upon herself to not just believe what the rumor mill is saying, what her friends and her family are saying. She decides to do her own detective work and dig in. And she uncovers exactly the answers she's been looking for. The book, I would give it an 8 out of 10. It's really, really good. But I feel like the ending felt rushed. It felt like there could have been more. Even though it was really good, it just seemed like the ending, like they just, you know how it's kind of gives you like one sentence or something? Like they gave you like a paragraph all of a sudden. Like they gave you all this build up and explained this one piece, and then they give you like one paragraph to explain this part that was really, to me, significant. But out of all of that, it was a really great read. It was a page turner. I sat down actually last Saturday and just dived into the book, and I finished it like within that weekend because I had time. Let me give you a few snippets in here to help pull you in and make you want to read it also. Let's see here. I liked this quote in the book because it refers to books. Melanie was, which is the ex-wife, loved to read. And Roland had a nice little, she had a she shed. And that was kind of her sanctuary. And so when the new wife, Samara, came into the picture, she began to clean out the she shed to try to make it her own. And while she was cleaning out the she shed, she came upon a lot of books because the ex-wife really loved to read. This is what it says here. A room without books was a room without a soul. So yes, I'd keep some of them on the shelf. No point in hauling them all away. I thought that was an interesting quote because I had never heard anyone say a room without books doesn't have a soul. I've never heard that before, but she said it as if it was something that is normally said. I think what else was interesting is, you know, like Samara was willing to give up everything and move from Miami to Colorado with him. He was a wealthy man. She was a working class woman. And you hear that a lot of, maybe not a lot, but yeah, I've met several people where they've moved across the world to be with someone. I just thought it was interesting that for him to have so much money, I don't really know how I feel about moving into a space that was initially you and your ex-wife's space. Like, she seemed okay with it, but I would think that the previous partner, like, I don't know, I would want a new space. I would, even if it's a beautiful mansion that he's built, I would think of it still as him and his wife's home that they created together. And I would want us to create our own new happy place, not come behind the previous partner into a space where you guys have probably made so many memories, you know? So I found that interesting. But anyway, that's off topic. And the next little blurb that may intrigue you or bring you into wanting to read the book is, here it says, but maybe Dylan was right about me. Now, Dylan is Roland's cousin. I was like Millie in a way. I did have an addictive personality too. Only mine wasn't to drugs or alcohol. It was an addiction to sex and attention. I could never get enough of it. And once someone showed any interest in me, I sucked it dry until I got bored with it. He was so right. So right. Yeah. So as you're reading, you will also see a family dynamic where Roland has made it and he's successful. And he is trying to help his family. And as the story unfolds, you would see how helping his family, he is actually hurting himself unknowingly. And that's an interesting part of the book, because I think that is so relatable, you know, helping people because you want to see them do well also, but unintentionally hurting yourself, because the people you're trying to help sometimes actually hate you for your success, and you're not aware of it. You're seeing the best in them because you love them and you want them to win, and they're taking advantage of that kindness. So yeah, this book really, to me, explores a lot of different things. You know, maybe it's a 9. I don't know. Maybe a 9 out of 10. It's really good. Pick up the book if you want to read a suspense, thriller, investigative, romance, a little family drama. This is it. A real page turner. Recommend. Highly recommend. I just wish the ending, I just wish she had explored more at that end. So just giving us that last paragraph, I wish she had went into more details about how that transpired, or, you know, what happened. Not just, you know, what she gave us. But anyway, yes, great book, great book, great book. Okay, the next thing I'm going to touch on is Essence magazine. So not only do I like books, I like to read my magazines. So I am a subscriber to Essence, and so I get my monthly. And they don't do monthly now. It's more like this one here is for May and June. I think just due to people not really buying magazines, some of their stuff is digital, but also I think to save cost, they now sometimes put months together. So this is like May and June. So yeah, I guess it's just because, you know, times are changing. Everyone is not supporting, but you know, I grew up where I had my great aunt. She would, anytime I visited her, she would always have like magazines like Jet, like Enterprise, and things of that nature, Ebony, on her table. And so since I enjoy Essence, I just want to see them win, especially since it's something that really is for us, for Black women, that support us anyway and tell our stories. So on this cover, Essence is celebrating the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, and it really delves deep and just speaks with each or various people there, like artists and fashion designers. They talk about wellness and people's PTSD from Hurricane Katrina. And that was really I can't even imagine, a really tough time for those guys. I mean, I met a lot of people that moved from New Orleans to Alabama. I even met people that had moved from New Orleans to Dallas. It was all because of the storms. It was all because, you know, they didn't feel like they had anything to go back to. And so they were just trying to rebuild and get their footing. And even to this day, it seems like people are still working on their healing from Hurricane Katrina. And yeah, just still trying to rebuild. So as I was reading the magazine and it was talking about Hurricane Katrina, it also reminded me that this is also May is Mental Health Month. And so they had an article, which I really love, that also they include Black men, topics on Black men in the magazine as well, because as Black women, it's important that we know what's also going on with our Black men. In fact, it's imperative so we can be a listening ear, or we can speak into their lives with the information that we have that they may not be privy to. So I thought this was a beautiful picture too of Dawn Richard that used to be a part of Danity Kane. I thought that was a beautiful picture of her. So pretty. Happy to see that she is well. Let me find what I wanted to share here. Okay, so I loved also that before I get to the men piece, they had a section about travel for us, and actually had some book recommendations for us as well. They had a whole travel section, which I thought was so awesome. So it says here, Travel Awards 2025, The World Belongs to Us Too. And Black travelers have 145 billion in spending power to prove it. So for this year's Best in Travel Awards, we're showcasing the destinations where our melanin glows, our presence is celebrated, and our dollars matter. From hidden gems to luxe escapes, the spaces we've chosen are ones where we don't just survive, we flourish. Consider this your permission to explore freely and unapologetically. Why? Because rest is revolutionary, sis, and you deserve it. So I thought that was a great reminder during the summertime, even if you're not traveling as far as flying or driving, schedule you a staycation. Stay at home, rest, relax. Don't continue to overdo it and just go, 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 go. So one place they named for a great place of luxury, which I think a lot of us know about it, is Paris, because of the celebrities that moved there. James Baldwin, Josephine Baker, like Richard Wright. Like it was just a place where people moved and were able to do well. They even have like restaurants in here to visit when you travel, like Ben's Chili Bowl in DC, One Flew South in Atlanta, Jackson Soul Food in Miami, Chicken and Beer in Los Angeles and in Atlanta, Leah's Kitchen in New Orleans, and Cardia Brown Southern Kitchen in North Charleston in South Carolina. And then I want to also, they have like Pack You a Book, which I thought was perfect for our BookTube video. And the book recommendations that they had here was Love and Color by Baloo Babalola. Not sure if that's accurate because, yeah, I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. I think I probably butchered it. Then they recommend The Deep Blue Between by Aisha Haruna Atta. Then another one was Black Girl in Paris by Shay Youngblood. I want to get that one. The other one was Monster in the Middle by Tiffany Yannick. And then the last one was The Souls of Purgatory, the spiritual diary of a 17th century Afro-Peruvian mystic. I thought that was interesting. So those are just some book recommendations that were named here, which I love. Outside of the wonders of Black Paris for traveling, to my surprise, they also recommended Switzerland. I have never thought of Switzerland before as a place to travel as a Black person. But they talk about why it is the perfect destination and about the Black businesses in Switzerland to check out. Then they have here Portuguese, the capital, which is Lisbon, why it's a beautiful place to travel. Now, I have heard of Portugal and people going there, Black people, which I thought that was really awesome. And then I loved how they talk about the New Africa and talk about different ones like Nairobi, Kenya to go to, one off the Ivory Coast, Rwanda, which I was surprised to see Rwanda because I remember I watched the movie Hotel Rwanda. So yeah, I will research that myself. Tanzania. So yeah, the Essence Fest has all kind of great things. If you're ever thinking about getting a subscription. So what I want to get to before I go is, where did it go here? Back to mental health. So on page 66, they talk about the Great Escape. And it says, these wellness retreats are a refuge for Black men to heal trauma, find community, and practice self-care. More Black men are seeking spaces for restoration, and it's not hard to see why. The suicide rate among this group has steadily increased over the past decade, with research showing that Black men are less likely to receive mental health support, despite experiencing disproportionate levels of trauma. A study by the National Vital Statistics System found that suicide rates among Black youths aged 10 to 24 increased by nearly 37% between 2018 and 2021, rising from 8.2 to 11.2 deaths per 100,000 people. And among Black adults ages 25 to 44, rates rose by nearly 23% during the same period. Meanwhile, the persistent stress of racialized violence, from police brutality to systemic oppression, creates an ongoing mental health crisis that often goes unaddressed, especially in Black men. In response, a growing number of alternative healing spaces, retreats, meditation circles, and somatic therapy practices are offering refuge from the unrelenting pressures of daily survival. Here are 6 transformative wellness retreat spaces designed specifically to help Black men heal, grow, and realign. So I wanted to share that because 2018 to 2021, when we saw the rise, we all know that during the pandemic, part of that. Because this just started in the end of 2019, 2020. So, and then before that, you know, we just kept seeing the murders of Black people on the news, on the internet. YouTube is everywhere. And then we know sometimes life is just hard. You know, people aren't always able to bounce back. But I thought that was great that they were offering these retreat spaces. So let me share with you where they are. And I'll make sure I put them down below in my description, just in case the people don't go all the way through the video. So the first one they have is called Healing, Rest, and Embodied Liberation for Men of Color. This is in Big Sur, California. Never heard of that part of California. The next place is called the Black Man's Self-Mastery Retreat. And this is in Puerto, Morelos, Mexico. The next one is Black Men Resting, and that one's in Brooklyn. The next one is Brookhood Reimagined in Joshua Tree, California. Then they have one is called the Meditation for Black Men Who Do Too Much, and that one's virtual. So that way, if you can't make it anywhere, you can log on. You don't have to go anywhere for that one, which I think is really an awesome option for those that just can't get away, whether it's monetary or time, you know. The next one is Permission and Refuge, a healing retreat for men of color in Stockbridge, Massachusetts. I loved that for the first one, it says rest is not a luxury, but a birthright. This is the core message of a retreat led by Danny Fluker Jr., author and founder of Black Boys and co-facilitator Darnell Lamont Walker, hosted at Esalen Institute. The program focuses on mindfulness, meditation, and yoga nidra. The goal is for participants to come and rest, nothing else. And that one is in California, Big Sur, California. And it's called Healing, Rest, and Embodied Liberation for Men of Color. I love that. So that is it. I just wanted to make sure I included that because we want to look out for each other. We want each other to be well. And when you find information, we want to share it. I want people to be able to get out and get rejuvenated if they can. And we all need each other. So yeah, I hope that helps. I hope you have an amazing Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully you get to read some great books. Again, like I said, The Wife Before. This is an older book. It's not like brand new, but it's a pretty great book, especially for this weekend to just get into. Don't forget to support your local indie stores if you have any. And don't forget to pick up an Essence if you can support that kind of business. And if you love the content here, please hit the like button and subscribe. Take care. Have an amazing day. And I wish you nothing but inner peace, positivity, and empowerment. Take care. Bye-bye.